Hey guys, how you guys doing? This is Njabulo, and I'm with the unstoppable millionaire himself, Tahir Hussain, and we're busy conducting an interview for the upcoming book of mine, personal project that I've undertaken. And we're talking about the principles of success, what success is, the importance of leadership, the importance of empowering others, and the importance of wealth creation. And there's not many better people that I had the opportunity to sit with one-on-one, sit in his workshops, listen to him talk, and just see him in action and work. And he's the author of The Unstoppable Millionaire. This is the workbook that I used. And it was just very great and very inspiring. So Tahir, if you could just introduce yourself and what your story is, just where you're
Sure,
from.
sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. And well, first of all, congratulations on even attempting to write a book. And I know you do a pretty good job with it because I had this experience of a few exposures with you
Yeah.
from the convention all the way to here. And you're hungry
Yeah.
because you really wanted to do it, and I want the audience to know that when you want something bad enough, you're going to find a way to get it.
Yes.
And you're here right now in this particular place doing this video for the people you love and care. That's your audience.
Yes.
So congratulations for that.
Thank you very much.
What is my story? A quick version of my story would be that I come from a very humble family background, and there were people who would say that, oh no, you can't do it, no, this is not for you, what, are you kidding, are you crazy, who does that?
Yeah.
All of that kind of stuff. And you start realizing when you believe in a dream strong enough, when you know that it is for you, and in gut you know that you've got everything in the world that you will do, you'll sacrifice to go and get it done, you just get it done. So that's what happened with me. I asked the question, what if? And for me it was like, well, what if this person is right? Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
What if that is right? And the result was, when I was 21 years old, I was building a $6 million business,
Oh.
teaching people how to build websites. At the age of 27, I earned, or I became a millionaire. At the age of 28, I was a multi-millionaire. My book speaks about that.
Yeah.
And the reason I specifically mentioned that is because if I could do it, and I come from a very humble family background,
Yeah.
where people didn't believe such things were true in the real world, at least not for us.
Yeah.
They proved them wrong otherwise. And that basically gives millions and millions of people around the world hope that if I could do it, anyone could do it, starting with humble beginnings.
Yes.
One of the things my book speaks about at the end is, no matter what your circumstances are, or what your background is, if you have what it takes, you can do it.
Yes.
And that's what the book teaches, that's what the workbook is about.
Yes.
So that's a quick one on me, on where I come from.
Oh yes, when I heard that story, I was like, there's no ways I'm gonna miss an opportunity to meet this guy. And when your book came out, I was one of the very first people to buy one. It was like, the Unstoppable Millionaire book is out. I'm like, I'm in, and I read it, and it changed my life. So, and the book that I'm writing, there is, when I was researching successful people in all walks of life, one of the things is that they start with a why. They have a purpose, a cause, a belief. And if you don't have a sense of purpose, then you're not going to be able to, why what you're doing can be meaningless. So you're not also known as the why guy. You're the why guy. So if you could just give your thoughts on why it's important to have like a purpose, a concrete purpose for success.
Absolutely, that's a very important question, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people out there want to make money. See, the last 18 years, I've researched, developed, done trainings, met people, interviewed them for one thing. The thing was why people behave the way they behave. What triggers them and what doesn't trigger them, why they wouldn't take action, why they would take action. And over these 18 years, I've met over 150,000 people, close to 200,000 people, directly, indirectly, influencing them, finding out that why. So for me, it's always been why. And I'll ask all of you listening to this, could you relate to someone out there who actually wants to make a lot of money, be rich, probably be a millionaire? And if you ask 100 people, probably all 100 of them would raise their hand, yes, I want to be a millionaire. But then you ask the next question, how many of you are actually millionaires? How many of you are actually rich enough to say that you're rich enough? And then you'll hardly see 1 or 2% people, if you're lucky enough. Otherwise, even that won't happen. Why? Right? So if you do this exercise, you'll realize that there is something more than just knowing or doing that you want. One of the things I spoke about in my workbook was learn how to differentiate between what a real goal is versus an idea or a concept. Most of us like the idea or a concept of being rich. Most of us like the idea or a concept of being a millionaire or of being an entrepreneur. But very few, less than 2%, I would say, actually not only go for it, but stay persistent enough and actually get that job done. Right? So my question to you would be that if you want to be rich, if you want to contribute back to the world, if you want to help people become rich along with you, if you want more time freedom for the people you love and care the most, whatever that is, what makes you unstoppable? What's your why?
Yeah.
Because if that why is strong, why? If that why is strong, because you will fail. Everyone fails. And I'm one of those bad guys who actually goes and rather than talking about success and you're the champion, all of that stuff, I'm going to tell you the hard reality. Statistically, 95% or more entrepreneurs fail in the first 3 years.
Wow.
And I'm not talking about the ones who become rich. I'm not talking about the ones who fail, who don't exist anymore. 95% or more in the first 3 years. What makes you be in that 5%? And that is your why. Because if your why is strong enough to drive you, to take you to a whole level, when you get knocked down, yes, failure would become your best friend because it will allow you to learn a lot. Not disappointment. Now, if you could eventually channel yourself in that process, you will become invincible, you will become unstoppable. So that's why it's very important for you to know what your why is, and depending on how strong that why is, it will determine how far you will go. Not how hard you work, not how much you hope and wish for, not how educated you are. Now, don't get me wrong, they're all important, but not as important as your why. How do I know that? Because the most educated people sometimes are not the most richest people.
That's true.
That's how I know. But the most hungry people who have a solid why, they burn their bridges behind them, and the only way to move forward is either do or die. They actually make it on the other side.
Yes. So what's your why? What drives you? Like on a personal compare, what is the one thing that drives you?
Well, for me, it's been way much more than the money itself. And why is that? Because when you earn millions of dollars, you realize you could be chasing for that, but then you realize that you don't need millions of dollars to live your life. You could find happiness in things which has nothing to do with money as well. And for me, what became my mission of life was to go out and help people, to share with them the knowledge, the expertise, the failures I went through, so they don't have to go through 18 years of that experience to be in a position where I am. And that's what the Unstoppable Millionaire Academy does.
Yes.
It teaches people, it empowers people in ways beyond people can imagine. And that's the power of giving back or paying it forward, which I speak about in my book as well. That adds so much value to people that the only thing they could think of is, oh my God, how can I not take that? Right? And that is what drives me to, when we do our talks, when we do our books, and the DVDs are coming out and so much more, when parents come up and say how their children's lives have changed forever. I'm also famous for making a lot of people cry in a positive way, where emotionally they get so amazed with there's so much more to life, so much more to them basically, and that is what drives me all the time. If you would give me $1 million and say, shut up and stop talking and just sit on the table and keep your millions, I will not be interested, because my why is way much more than money. And I would encourage all of you to have a why way much more than the materialistic things. Now, they're important maybe for you, but that will only take you that far. There's a huge, bigger purpose out there.
Yes.
So that is what drives me. And here I am, after 3 or 4 days, barely slept a few hours, halfway across the planet, helping people empower and see the transformations that happen.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. The why guy. He's the why guy. So the next area I just want to talk about is the concept of leadership. In South Africa, yes, we are in South Africa. There is a crisis of leadership, where there's a lack of it, or there is not enough of it. So most people, they think you have to be a CEO or a president or a big religious person for you to be a leader. However, in my experiences, even Robin Sharma talks about it, that you can lead from any level. You can be a leader from wherever you are. And one concept you talk about is leadership, is empowerment. So could you talk about being able to lead no matter who you are, and the importance of empowering others?
But true. Now that's another very interesting part, especially in this region. And here's my message, and I would literally plead you to listen to this carefully. That leadership, for some reason, we believe starts with Robin Sharma or Tony Robbins or Nelson Mandela. But remember one thing, that what made Nelson Mandela be Nelson Mandela was the process he went through.
Yeah.
He didn't all of a sudden one night happen to be a leader, a legend. It's the process, the hardships and everything else. I don't want to get into that story, but you all know that story. So don't we go through that in some form or the other at our smaller levels, whatever that level is for us in life? If we do go through that, what is your story?
Yeah.
Who knows that story? You don't have to stand in front of 1,000 people to inspire them and have 100 followers to become a leader.
Yeah.
You don't. You see, to be a leader, all you need to do is share that story. If you have one person following you, one person says, wow, I could relate to that story and that's amazing, hats off, congratulations. That's leadership. Unfortunately, we just think it's a couple of thousand people or a couple of 100,000 people, millions of people to be a leader. That's not true.
Yeah.
What is that small deed that you could do today when people will look at you and say, wow? When people will look at you, they'll be touched.
Yeah.
You want to know how to be a leader? That's where it starts.
Yes.
Why? Because the thousands and the millions will eventually come. Maybe they may not come because maybe that's not what you're looking for. But the leadership starts from within.
Yes.
See, the leadership starts from you. A lot of people don't realize. They're like, if I have so many people following me, I'll go up. No, it doesn't. It doesn't start from there. It starts from you. When you start changing, you start creating the ripple effect that actually starts influencing people. And I'm talking about a positive change, not a negative change here, right? Because leaders create that positive change, right? So when you could do this successfully with one person, you could do it successfully with 10, with hundreds, with thousands. Depends how far you want to go.
Yeah.
But here's my message. Be the change that you want to see in this country. You have a beautiful country. But you have to be the change.
Yeah.
If you're going to look up and say, God, send me a prophet, you know what? God is done sending prophets.
Yeah.
God is saying prophets are within you. Do you realize that? Leaders are within you. Do you want to be one of them?
Oh, wow, that's a powerful message around leadership. Hopefully we'll listen to this. So one of the final ones I want to speak about is wealth creation. And money. Now, most people, it's a touchy subject. Money is a touchy subject because many people have all these beliefs that money is evil, that or if you have money, that you're a bad person, or sometimes they believe that you don't deserve money. However, most people don't understand money in the way that it works. So, what is the importance of money and wealth, and from your perspective, in your years of being a multi-millionaire, just existing? So, yeah.
Right. Now, that's a very important and a sensitive question for a lot of you. Thank you for bringing that up. I could do a one-day workshop on that question alone, just to give you an idea. That's how important it is. Yeah, I think I should. So I touch about it in my workbook a little bit. I touch about it in my book a little bit because it's important, right? Now, the first thing I've realized why people don't make a lot of money is not because of their talent or their skills. The world is filled with talented people. It's because of their mindset and the belief patterns that they grew up with. I grew up with a belief pattern, and I'll give you my example. So some of you, or maybe most of you could relate. For 17 years, 18 years, I was told that money is evil. If you become a lot of rich, you become egoistic, you become absolutely corrupt, and you're arrogant and things like that. Now, while that might be true about people who have money, I can think of a lot of poor people who behave the same way. So you don't need money to become arrogant or egoistic. I see a lot of poor people who have the attitude. But on contrary, when I started researching on some other people, like Bill Gates, Melinda and Gates Foundation, they gave a couple of $1 billion over the last 10 years in charities and foundations. Tony Robbins, trying to feed a couple of million people this year alone, and so many more examples. I mean, I could hardly feed a couple of 100 people, and this guy goes and feeds a couple of million people. Now, how many poor people could say that? And I'm not trying to put the poor people down, but I'm trying to make you understand that money is not evil. It is us. It's the human beings, not the money. Money is just a vehicle that you can use for good or for bad. Just like the internet, for example, for good or for bad. Just like media, for good or for bad. That's up to, just like the pen, for good or for bad. Money does the same thing. But if you could look past your belief and say, what if money was not evil? Could you find a good number of people who actually used money and did something worthwhile out of it. And why not follow on their steps compared to the ones whose steps you've been following? But here's the most important thing about money. It will question your belief.
Yes.
It will question your belief. And yes, when you make money, you become successful, it can get to your head. Good cars can get to your head. You need to learn one thing. The more money you make, the more humble you need to become. It's huge advice, because it might get to your head at some point, but the more humble, if you think of yourself as a servant who is going to contribute and give people more. Now this is where it goes beyond your house, beyond your car, beyond $1 million.
Yeah.
See, when I get a lot of people who say I want on $1 million or $1 million, the first question is, great, here's a list, tell me what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
They can't even come up with half of the things that they want to do with that money. So it's just an idea.
Yeah,
They really don't want the money,
Yeah.
right? The ones who want the money bad enough are going to use that for a good, apart from building the lifestyle that they want to build. But what if you could have both? Instead of feeling guilty of having a great place, what if you had a great place and helped many more people than what you're helping today?
Yeah.
You see, with an extra $1 million,
Yeah.
I could go out and help way more people than actually being poor.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And why does it have to be evil? So it's the people that's evil, it's not the money. And of course, one of the other ideas or suggestions I would do is, a quick one would be that to make money, you need to realize something. The first thing you need to realize is get yourself educated on financial literacy. Why?
Yeah.
Our academic system doesn't teach that.
Yeah.
Economics doesn't teach that. And to make money, you need to learn to do one thing first. Make sure that the money is not working against you. When that stops, that's bad debts. Then let the money work for you, because no matter how hard you work, if you've got bad loans and bad debts, it's just going to eat up all of it.
Yeah.
So let's make sure you don't make that mistake. So just a few tips there on why money is not evil. It's the people who are good or bad, and how you should learn or invest in yourself to get educated more on the finances. And we'll be running many workshops even on those.
Yeah, we'll be sure to watch out for marketing material on that one.
Yes.
So that concludes the line of questioning. We could go on for days and days and days, but just a little teaser. You can learn a lot more from this man when it comes back down to South Africa. So just a final word from you around those people who want to be more successful, those who want to be unstoppable, but something's like holding them back. If you just give them one more pearl of wisdom around being unstoppable in terms of becoming more successful.
Yes. Here's a quick advice, and I could relate to this because I was probably just like one of you listening to this video right now. I was listening to someone's video. Then sometimes what we do is we look at our current situation where we are, and we start comparing ourselves with people who are very successful, and we look at them and we say, oh my God, whoa, I can't be that person. This is so big, right? What we don't realize is that majority of them have gone through similar struggles or worse struggles than what we actually are going through, and they came out with flying colors. I've realized that the more higher a person has become successful, the more worse he went down failing in life.
So the more you fail,
The more,
you be
yeah,
successful.
it's like a bouncing concept. You know, when a ball bounces, the more hard you hit the ball on the ground, the more higher it bounces. So the deeper that they failed, the more phenomenally they grew up. So that's what I would encourage all of you, that don't get hyped up thinking that they are way from a different planet. They're from the same planet. Look at their stories, find out what those stories are. Today with technology we could do that, and study those stories, that in what adversities they decided to change their life. And if they could do it, what is stopping you from not doing it? And that should be a huge empowering belief for you when you started putting in a lot of research. But only you can do it. And my other advice would be there for our courses and stuff like that we do, because it allows you to open up your mind to a whole new world of possibilities which you never knew existed. They're all around us.
Yes.
So that's my advice.
That's great. That's great. Thank you very much, Tahir.
My pleasure.
Thank
My
you
pleasure.
very
This
much.
was great. Thank you for all that you're doing for the people of this lovely country and continent.
Yes.
And I really wish you the very best. So
All right.
proud of you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Okay, guys, we believe that you have that you can go out there and live an inspired life. Now go out there and show the world how great you are. Thanks.